Our next guest, I'm sure everybody listening knows who he is. He is a three-time All Big Ten selection, 2020 Wooden Award National Player of the Year candidate. List goes on and on, but we are so honored to have on Anthony Cowan today. Anthony, welcome to the show.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Just to kind of get things started, why don't you tell our listeners what you're up to now? I know you told me that you're playing in Greece.
So I'm on my third year playing overseas in Greece. Um, yeah, that's where I am right now. This is a little different from the States, but yeah, loving it over here.
Spot, the spot that you think in Greece, like where are you exactly, and how often have you been able to like see the country? Like, you know,
Yeah, so I'm in Patras, Greece. It's a city. So Athens is the capital, obviously. So I'm like 2 hours away from Athens. And yeah, I go somewhere every week, every other week. 1 week we can play in Italy, 1 week we can play in Paris. So I've been around a bit much. So it's definitely been a good experience for me.
have you like left the country before, like, or like have you been traveled outside the U.S. like as a kid, or was this kind of like your first experience?
This kind of was my first experience. My junior year, I want to say, we did a foreign trip for Maryland, and we played in Italy.
Hmm.
Yeah, but other than I think that's the team with that was Bruno's last year. That was Sticks in them freshman year. So yeah, this that. Other than that, this is my kind of just first time. This is definitely my first time just living in Europe though.
What was it like the adjustment period for you? Like, do you have any funny stories about like coming in and being like, oh shit, this is different than the U.S., man?
Man, my first year I played in another city in Greece. Um, I just remember the first practice, bro. It's like the difference in European basketball is totally different. Like it's kind of hard to describe. It's kind of one of those things like you kind of have to see for yourself. But just like talking about like the first practice, I remember like the first practice, like I remember like going home and like calling my mom, like, yeah, I don't know if I can do this, just because it's insane. Like it's so like I hate to like put it like in words, but it's like you're playing like it's so physical. It's almost like you're playing football. It's so like it's so different. You just have to adjust to it. I don't know. No crazy stories come to my mind exactly, but I just remember that's what I always kind of remember. Go back to my first practice out here. It was like I don't know how I'm gonna be able to hold up, just because like I remember that first practice, like I'll be just being dead tired, and not even from just like running or going crazy, just from like simple stuff like getting over screens or something like that, and just getting hit every possession. It was definitely tougher.
If you can take us back a little bit, what kind of went into the decision to go play in Greece and go overseas instead of staying in the U.S.?
Yeah. So obviously I came out COVID year. During the COVID year, it was kind of weird. Everything was so weird. My first year I played in the bubble, the G League bubble, which was super weird. I remember I know exactly when in my head I knew I wasn't going to stay in the States. I remember it was like just right in the beginning of the bubble. We haven't even played a practice or a game yet. And the GM of the team, I played for the Memphis Hustle. The GM of the team and the head coach of the team sat me down and was like, obviously we know what you did in college. You was one of the best players in college. But here's a little different. We have this player here, so they have to play. Like no matter and I look at them like, what do you mean like they have to play? Like we haven't even had any practice. Like what determines like they have to play? They was just like they have to play. Like the team, the Memphis Grizzlies wanted them to play. So when once I heard like that, like automatically heard like the politics that automatically goes in it, and I'm sure it's like that everywhere, but it already crossed my mind that it was just different in the States, especially like if you don't have anything like guaranteed in the G League. And I'm very young, and I'm like I want to play. Like I don't want to sit behind. I don't want to sit on the bench behind anyone. And then obviously just the opportunity to come out and see the world and play in a different country is huge for me. I was able to bring my family out here a bunch of times. They're able to see the world and just be able to travel with me and kind of experience this process with me as well. So it's definitely been a life changing experience for me.
You go to the NBA combine, the draft combine.
They didn't have a they didn't I don't think they had a combine that year. I don't If I'm not mistaken. I don't think they had a combine. I remember it was like a different type of combine. It was like a thing like they have a it was like an app. Like we had to do certain drills on the app and like record it on the app, and they tested out like we had to shoot like like do like the normal combine drills, but it was like all recorded through an app, and we like had to submit it through an app. So during COVID, it was weird. Everybody was trying to figure it out. So I don't even think they was just trying to do the best they could.
I
I
guess
want
kind
to.
of coming back to COVID in that year as a whole, Maryland basketball that year, a lot of fans remember that year as a special one. They got cut short. Just how do you feel when you think back to your senior season and how, I guess, it was cut short and you guys never got to have that one moment in the tournament?
For sure. You guys obviously probably not. Y'all weren't in school during that time when I was up there, right? Yeah, y'all was probably watching from afar. But it was just different. Just thinking back about it, it was just like the energy on campus was so much different. Obviously, I don't know how it is now. I'm guessing it's probably a little bit different. But it was just different, just all over campus. Just like that year, it was weird just because I've been there. That was like my last year there, and that was the year like I genuinely felt like that was the year that we could really do something special when we went into the tournament. Obviously, we had a great regular season, winning a piece of the regular season, and going into that Big Ten tournament. I also thought we could make some noise. But yeah, that year I feel like that was one of the teams that we were just most close knit. That we really knew how to win basketball games. I feel like that was the biggest thing. We enjoyed being around each other. And obviously we had a great coach in Coach Turgeon who really did a good job of leading us that year. We had a great assistants. That really everyone just did their job that year. I feel like that's the best way to say it. Everyone did their job to the best of their ability. And obviously it was just cut short. But it's kind of weird thinking about it just because I don't know. I kind of feel a little bit older now, so it goes back a little bit. But definitely one of the best years I've had playing basketball for sure.
I was like in high school, so I'm from Michigan, and
Okay.
I remember my first recollection of Anthony Cowan was I hated Michigan State. Like I was a U of M guy.
Mm-hmm.
When y'all went into East Lansing and beat them, I was going so hard for like I was pulling so hard for you guys,
For
and
sure.
y'all beat them on game day. I was like, okay, this he's tough. And then y'all lost to them at home a couple weeks later, and I was like, bruh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
my question is kind of looking back on that. I know this is hard, but what does Anthony Cowan think that team would have done? Like, how far do you think you guys would have gone in the tournament? Because you probably would have been a 2 seed if we're thinking about it. Do you think
Mhm.
that's a Final Four team, a Elite Eight? Like, where do you think you would have ended up at?
I've heard that. I've been asked that question a couple of times, and just the simple fact that we will never know. I'll forever say we would have won it all. Like that's gonna always be the answer. Just because like you never know. But if there was any out of my 4 years and just how that year went all together, if there was any team that would have won it that year, I would say us. I feel like we had all the pieces for it. We had the right coaching staff for it. I felt like we had we just had all the pieces. I feel like to make a championship run. So
Right.
yeah, that'll forever be in my eyes. We're forever the 2020 national champion. So that's just how it is.
And I gotta throw it back a year to a more painful something that we do know, although a little bit. The LSU game.
Mm.
First off, do we think Tremont Waters traveled? I feel like that's kind of been set in stone now.
Yeah,
And also, what about that game? I mean, that had to have been a tough loss because people remember the 2020 team, but that team also had, Sticks, Bruno Fernando, Ayala, Morcel, Wiggins was off the bench. I mean, that was a pretty loaded team too. What was how much of a missed opportunity did that feel like, especially after beating Belmont in kind of a big game? But first, I want to hear did Tremont Waters travel?
to be honest, bro, I haven't rewatched that game ever. Like I've never rewatched that game, that play. I've never rewatched it. It's kind of one of those things that it just you kind of just want to get out of your memory the most you can. So I don't know. I don't know. I didn't. I feel like I was far away from the play as well. So I don't really remember what he did. But he obviously hit a big time shot. So but yeah, I feel like that was definitely a missed opportunity as well. Cause like I feel like that team was really good as well. Especially when you have dynamic guards like me and Eric and Aaron and Daryl, and then you also have two of the best bigs in the country. Like you're supposed to go on a big run like that, and yeah, it just didn't work out that way. Um, it just didn't work out that way. But I definitely see it was definitely a big missed opportunity. But it happens.
Can you talk about just, I know one moment, at least a lot of Maryland fans look back at was Sam talked about the college game day game. Just what that was like having that in College Park and kind of that overall experience for you?
Yeah, that was so much fun. I got a couple memories of that. I remember walking in, and I forgot. I know Scott SVP was doing the he was on the they was doing the broadcasting, and I remember walking in, and, like the whole wall was filled up, and just walking in, and I walked in, everybody started cheering. That was a big time moment for me. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Like I said, that year was just it was that and the energy was different. Like if I can think back right, every game was like just super packed and just super fun, and the fans are so into it. Um, if I don't know 100%, but I think if we would have won that game, we would have won the Big Ten outright. I'm not 100% sure. So it was a big time game for us, but obviously we lost. But just having it in the College Park, and I feel like that's what students that come to college for. Like they to come for those type of experiences. Like like it to be able to say like they've been a part of something like that. That was huge for us.
Do you
I mean, I think that this at Xfinity Center, that arena was pretty crazy. But what's the craziest environment overseas you've played in? Because I've seen some videos and it goes kind of wild.
It doesn't even compare. The environments out here is in college, like in college it has nothing. It doesn't compare. My first year, after this interview, I want y'all to YouTube Aris basketball and Pauk versus Pauk POAK basketball. I want y'all to YouTube that and see that type of environment. That was my first year out. Though when you talk about like environments, like when I say like you can only experience those things in person, like the videos won't even justify it. But the environments is I feel like that's what you come over here to play for, like to see those environments, to be able to play under that pressure, play under people throwing things on the court, people just going crazy. Like it's fun. It's fun.
do you remember what the craziest college environment was that you played in?
Oof. College environments. Craziest college other than College Park, other than College Park, right? Other than College Park, um, Michigan State was always crazy. Michigan State was always crazy. Illinois did a pretty good job. But definitely the top is definitely Indiana. Indiana is insane. Just because like I don't know how like their building is shaped, but it's always feels like people are like over top of you. Like when you look up, it's like people are over top of you. So it's weird, and it's always packed in there. But Indiana was definitely one of my favorite places.
Okay, I looked up this game you were talking about, this like ridiculous rivalry. Yeah, that environment looks absurd.
Mhm.
Are most of your teammates like used to that? Are they from the U.S.? Where like is that environment normal for a lot of your teammates or the other
It's
people
no,
on the court?
it's so normal, bro. Like it's like one thing I can say about like the fans out here, you know how like I always describe it like this. You know how like in college, like when college fans come to the game, like they're usually students, like and it's not usually not all of them are like even like know anything about basketball. Some people just come for the free T-shirt. Some people come for the you know what I'm saying for the just because they want to just do something social. Just they want to go see a friend or they have a crush on one of the players, something like that. That's you know what I'm saying. Like not everybody's like really into the game. But like out here, like it's like die hard. Like they're into it like the whole time. They're watching everything. Like it's to certain points like where this never happened to me, but it's to certain point. Well, it has happened like a couple times, but like if a ref calls like a bad call, like they'll start throwing stuff at them. Like they'll have to stop the game and clear the whole gym. Like if like the team doesn't perform well, like the fans don't think they played as hard. Like they would make sure the team stays in the locker room so like they don't like just because they don't want any interactions with the fans, so you never know what the fans will do. Like they're so into it, they're so like I said, it's like life or death almost like that with them. So like they're diehards for their team. So it just makes the experiences so much better.
Is there a particular moment that you remember the fans turning on you or booing you because you did something wrong, or maybe you made a good play against their team
At Merlin or out here in Europe?
in Europe?
Europe, for sure. It's always like that. It's so many because like I said they don't it's almost like they don't take up like a possession off like and it's like they watch everything to the T like they like maybe like I don't know like specific moment but I'm sure just knowing me as a player maybe one time like we'll play on the road and like I'll hit a big shot and like stare at the fans or do something like that they'll like start going crazy like that's just how they're built out here like they're into it the whole time.
I want to ask about your teammates. in Maryland and also in Europe. So this is kind of a double part. For one, we talked to Maudie and he said that y'all used to have freestyling battles in your time. Who was the best freestyler other than you? Because he said Kevin Herter used to rap a little, and I don't know. Did he have it like that? Was it you? Was it Fernando Sticks? Who was the best freestyler?
Man, we had a couple. Eric was smooth. Eric
Okay.
was smooth. Daryl was smooth. Um, it was a couple. Everyone had their nights. Everyone had their nights. It would go back. It would go back and forth. But yeah, we definitely had a couple battles when we just wanted to switch it up. Because like I said, that all the years that all the freshmen were there, we was always together. So those are definitely one of the things that we did. Just as it would just be so random. Like we'll just be dead silent, everybody on their phone, and somebody will start it off, and then it always starts like that. But yeah, we had a couple of them.
And I gotta ask real quick, that song Uno Unfiltered, man, you're just in the video. I don't even hear you rapping. What's going on with that?
It wasn't supposed to be me rapping. It was supposed to be just like a day in the life thing. It was just supposed to be in a day in the life thing. I forgot all about that. But yeah, it was just supposed to be like a day in the life thing.
I clicked it says featuring Anthony Cowan. I was like, okay, bet I'm about to rap. And then,
Nah. But if you ask Marty, I got some songs in the chamber though. I got some, I got some stuff. I don't know if it'll ever come to the public, but I got some stuff.
And then about your teammates in Europe, is there any like funny moments? Because I've read some stories about like European teammates and American teammates, like how like different the culture is outside of basketball, and like how interesting those interactions can be. Do you have any good or like interesting stories that you remember about like teaching your teammates or them teaching you some things?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's the normal stuff. Like my first year, the language barrier was rough for me. Like I don't know if you ever heard Greek, but it's real fast. Like it's what I'm saying. Like it's hard to like usually like I've been over here now. Like if I catch one word, like I can get like a gist of what somebody's talking about. But I'm trying to think. Cause I know like a couple times my first year was rough, especially the first couple weeks. Like just communicating, just like going to a restaurant and trying to order food. It takes you like an hour. Just like trying to like tell them like what you want. But I don't know if I have any necessarily stories. But I just remember like that was the hardest thing for me. Cause I don't know how to cook. So a lot of times like I was just going out to restaurants to eat. So like my first couple weeks, like I would dread going to the restaurants to eat because I know it would take forever just for trying to have me to order food. Like I'm gonna have to Google Translate even if that doesn't work. Like I gotta like draw pictures of something and tell them what I want. That was always the toughest. Just like the language barrier. The language barrier was tough.
Do you like Greek food or like was it?
Oh,
Like,
it's good. It's good. No, like they got stuff. They got stuff like pastichios, like a lasagna that's so good. Obviously, like the simple stuff like Greek salad. They got like some feta cheese stuff. I've been out here for so long. I'm just so used to some of that stuff. It's all my favorite.
they have lamb, right? That's a big thing out there
Lamb,
too.
that's a big thing for them. Lamb, they got all these types of beefs and meats. But yeah, it's if y'all ever get a chance to try some good Greek food from Greece, I definitely recommend it.
I don't know about all that because you just said it took you an hour to order from a restaurant. So
I know. But once you get it right, you'll have some of the best food ever.
I kind of wanted to ask, going back to Maryland, about Coach Turgeon. Coach Turge leaves behind a little bit of a complicated legacy in the eyes of Maryland fans just because 2 years after your senior year, he's out. Can you kind of, I guess, talk about the type of coach that you saw him as?
Yeah. For me personally, I saw a coach that came in and gave it everything every day. And like it would be easy for me now just to be like, oh, like, because I feel like, especially like, obviously we know Maryland fans, they're rough. You know, if we don't get if they don't get certain things, it's they look at it as a losing season, but they don't really see like the inside and outs. You know, it's you look at it from the outside a lot, but me personally, I seen a coach that came and gave it everything they had. Try to do whatever. Like the one thing I would say about Coach Turgeon that I love was like if something wasn't working, he was not shy about just like trying to figure out whatever he had to do to win. And I feel like that was the biggest thing with him. And I appreciated him. The way that he helped me become a better player, a better point guard. Obviously, he was a point guard, so it kind of went hand in hand. He did a lot for me in my career in terms of just letting me play through certain things. In terms of just showing me different ways and never coached me easy. Like even as a freshman, like sometimes you come in as a freshman, like you would think like your coach would like take it easy on you a little bit just because you're new, you don't understand certain things, but he put that responsibility on me early, and that really grew me up fast. And some of the things that he taught me, it helped me out to even today. Like I use certain things that he taught me. So to me, I have nothing bad to say about Coach Turner.
Do you feel as if the fans were overly critical of him? Because I remember there'd be times where I would go to a game and they would be booing him in the pregame intros, and it was just like,
Yeah.
it's a tournament team. Like, why are you booing the coach?
Yeah, and the thing that was always so weird to me about like booing a coach is like, yeah, I get it, like he's like the head honcho. Like if his team doesn't perform, like you kind of got to blame it on the coach. But some of the things that some players do, even not only just Coach Turgeon, but coaches in general, some things that players do on the court that it's totally out of coaches' hands. Like like certain things, like coaches aren't out there just playing the games. Like, but it's easy just to boo the coach and like look at them because I feel like they're the biggest targets because they're the one that's like they're the one that's supposed to be having hands on, but certain things you can't control. So yeah, that was always so weird to me. But the one thing that I would say that really helped us out and made us the better team is like we all had each other's back at that, especially that's my senior year, that 2020 team. Like we obviously would hear certain things about Coach Turgeon and having him get booed and all that type of stuff, but we rallied around him and he rallied around us. He would always be the one to take the hit whenever we had a bad game or we had a bad loss or we turned the ball over too much. So I feel like that really that helped us as a team.
Do you still talk to him at all? Like, what's your relationship with him now? Have you communicated with him recently or no?
For sure. We'll check it. We'll check in every once in a while. He's on vacation now. And obviously my time I'm rarely home, so it's kind of tough. But yeah, we'll definitely check in. I always tell him, man, I'm in Greece, and he says he wish he was too. But yeah, we check in every once in a while.
What about you and Melo? What's your relationship like in college and then now? Because you both play overseas, obviously.
Yeah, in college I was my guy. Like he really took me under his wing. Really took me under his wing and showed me the ropes. Yeah, he really showed me the ropes. And now, yeah, we talk all the time now, just because we kind of go through certain things, especially just being over here away from our families. We go through similar things. So for me to be able to talk it out, and even for him to be able to talk it out, and talk about different things. Yeah, that's still my guy. We talk a good amount.
What's the best Melo and Ant story you have? Like, do you have any that you remember? And if that one doesn't spark a memory, kind of asking about what they did. Like, do you remember any time that Turgeon got particularly pissed or laid into you guys or you at all? Because I know that he would get a little fired up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, Mellow stories. I mean, we got so many just because we've been together. I don't know if I have any for the podcast, but we got some good stories. We got some good ones. But for me,
We're unfiltered here, man. We're unfiltered.
I'll try to think about some other ones. But for me and Coach, I remember this one time. It was like early on. It was early on. I don't even think we started games like my freshman year. Um, and I forgot what I did. I feel like I turned the ball over, but it was like the same type turnover. Like I made the same type pass, and it got stolen like twice. And I remember him just stopping the whole practice and just like going on me for like a good minute. Like, and obviously like I was used to it. Like I've been coached hard, but like it woke me up. Like it just woke me up. Like he went in on me. Um, and he was just like, this isn't high school no more. Like he just was going in on me. But like those are one of the things that made me who I was. And maybe who I am, to just be able to understand coaching and take coaching, and know like he's not doing it from like a malicious standpoint. He's doing it just to genuinely just try and help me out. But yeah, we definitely had some run-ins where he went at me.
Kind of going back to high school a little bit, can you talk about your decision to commit to Maryland and stay home? Because it feels like, especially past 2 years, the topic of keeping local talent home has been pretty big around Maryland basketball.
hmm I committed to Merlin so early. I always joke with Coach Sturgeon and told him I didn't make him work for it enough because I just committed so early. I think it was my junior year. Um, I was a Georgetown fan originally. Like I always went to their camps back in the day. My grandmother would always send me to Georgetown camps. I have so many pictures with Coach Thompson and all that. But they, whenever for whatever reason, they offered me so late. So like they were never in the discussion. But so what made me commit so early, I feel like I always knew I wanted to stay home. You know, at that time I was a big mom. I'm still in there kind of, but I was a big mom. But I knew I wanted to be home. I knew I wanted to be able to go home whenever I wanted to. And obviously, College Park being 10, 15 minutes from my house, that was huge for me. But if I remember correctly, I think it was like I didn't want to commit so early because I still wanted to go on the visits because Maryland was the only visit I went to. But I think coach was telling me like it was this other point guard they was going to take if I didn't commit, and I knew where I was going to go, but I just wanted to make him work a little bit. Like I wanted to go see other places. I wanted to have like the whole like recruiting process, like the whole process, be able to go to different official visits. But I remember him telling me like this other point guard was about to commit. I forgot who it was. But I remember he telling me it was another point guard was gonna commit, and if he really wanted me, but he couldn't wait out any longer. I feel like college coaches pull that so many times. Like that's their main like recruiting like trick. Like if you don't come, like this other point guard's gonna come. We're not gonna have any scholarships left. But in hindsight, I feel like that's never the case. They know who they want. Yeah, that's why I ended up committing so early. I committed my junior year. I think I still even had one more summer AAU left. But I committed so early, and I feel like it was a simple fact. He was just like, "Yeah, if you don't commit now, we might have another point guard come in." And I was just like, "All right, it is what it is. I'll go ahead and lock it in."
What's like when you look back on kind of your time in CP? Do you have any like not regrets, but things? And I know the 2020 season will come to mind, but whether it was like on the court, off the court, like anything you wish you had done differently, or is it all like it all comes back positive?
Off the court, I would definitely say I don't regret anything, just because I feel like that 4 years it was a lot. It was big time. It was I don't want to say it was the best 4 years of my life because obviously you still got so much life to live, but it was a good 4 years for me. But one thing I feel like I regret on the court, I feel like my performances in the Big Ten tournament and in the March Madness. Those are one of the things I look back on. Like I wish I would have came to play a little bit more in those games, just because those are obviously all the big shots that I hit regular season, all the plays that I made. When it comes to the Big Ten tournament and March Madness, I feel like those are the ones that really counted. And I feel like I didn't really I didn't play up to my potential in those games. So when I look back, those are the ones I wish that I probably did a little bit more. But other than that, I have no other regrets for college.
Yeah. I know you came back after your junior year. Was some of that like did that ever play or like you came back from your junior into your senior year? Did that ever like play a role in like I want to be remembered as like differently because your junior year you guys lose in the first round and I can't remember sophomore freshman year, but what went into that decision to return? Was it solely just the draft told you, hey, like you got to come back, or did like leaving a legacy at Maryland leave a mark?
Yeah, I think it was the last part, leaving a legacy at Maryland. I feel like that was always so important to me. I mean, I think y'all know my story about like all my family going there and being at all the games and all that good stuff. So that was huge for me, and I just wanted to make sure I went out like the best way possible. And I feel like I did that like the last year, obviously winning the last game and cutting down the nets and all that good stuff. I feel like that really made it worth my while coming back to college and really kind of making myself, I would say personally, making myself a household name in Maryland basketball. So that was important.
Would you say that game against Michigan your senior year was your favorite, or is there another moment where you're like, that's my favorite game I played as a Terp?
My favorite game playing. Ooh. Favorite game playing at Michigan State that game day. That was up there. That was definitely one of my favorites.
The Gold Rush game where you hit that deep three.
Illinois game, yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one. The other one that was really fun, I don't even think people really remember, or maybe they do. When we beat Illinois, my senior year as well at Illinois, it was this was supposed to be like they're huge. It's nothing like beating a team like, especially like Illinois, where they're just like, I don't know if y'all seen this, but it upset me. They just played Illinois at Maryland. They like tweeted out like that because they did like a big tweet thing. Yeah, he did that thing on the plane or something because they finally won at Maryland or whatever. But that time, but that year, my senior year when we beat them, it was supposed to be like, I forgot what it was. I remember they invited like all their old players back. Like I forgot what it was. I I think it was like their best ranking they ever had type thing, and we went in there and we beat them, and it was a pretty easy win. But it was
Did y'all
oh yeah,
come back?
we might
right?
we might have came back. We might have came back. I remember it wasn't close at the end. Like we didn't have to hit any big shots. It was just like kind of just like hit free throws type thing. That was one of my favorites. But yeah, I have so many now that I look back at it. It was just every game was like it was just different memories. It would be hard. It would be hard for me to just point out one, but yeah, it's hard to keep pointing just one game.
So Anthony, I got the ESPN here pulled up. So y'all were number 3. This was 2019. This was like December 2019. Y'all were down 15 at halftime, and then you hit a game-tying three-pointer in the final 20 seconds. That was the senior year, and then the other game, y'all came back and beat them too. So double dip on the Illinois comeback wins.
I love the Illinois. I don't know what it is. I love the Illinois. I don't know what it is.
Brendan took the shirt thing a little personally. We've been talking about it on the podcast. Someone said they hadn't beaten Maryland since the FDR administration.
Yeah, like they did all that. Like Illinois, I don't know, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that game was pretty ridiculous. Just in terms of that, I thought that was pretty funny that they did that. But like in terms of the team now, I know obviously different coach, a lot has changed. But do you know anybody on the team? Are you friends with anybody? Do you have any relationships with any of the guys now?
Yeah, obviously Dante is still there. I was just home last week, so I was able to work out there. And saw a couple of them. I saw Jameer, Juju. Yeah, I have a relationship with a couple of them. We play in the summer, get together in the summer. Obviously me just knowing Jameer, just playing in the WCC, I've seen him a lot. So yeah, I still have a relationship with a lot of them, and it was always good to see Dante, obviously coming back from playing with him. But yeah, it's also weird going back there and like really not knowing too much. But also, obviously, there's still a lot of people there that obviously I still know, like Matt and Kyle and Coach Cox and Mike Jones. I played against Mike Jones all the time in high school when he coached at DeMatha. So it's always good to go back and just see them.
Can you talk about that time playing in the WCAC, kind of that high level high school basketball competition? Do you feel like that obviously doesn't compare to college, but do you think it prepared you to play against high level competition here?
For sure. I've heard it so many times. Being it's one of the best high school leagues in the country. I don't really see too many other like them, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the proof is in the pudding. When you go down like the different years of the different players that came out, you see all the players they making immediate impacts on their teams in college. I feel like the WCAC definitely prepares you for that because they in year in and year out. I mean, you can play like my year. We had Markel, Chris Likes, so many players that came and had a big impact just their first year just stepping on campus. I mean, that's not easy to do, to come in freshman and have an impact in college. So yeah, I think it definitely prepares you.
What does the future look like for you? Staying in Greece, you can make a run at the NBA. Do you have any ideas of what that looks like for you?
Yeah, it's kind of different. I'm taking it day by day. But I wouldn't, you kind of really don't know in this business. You never know what type of opportunities are gonna come. I'm having a pretty good year this year, so we'll see what other opportunities come in the summer. I plan on doing summer league this summer if the opportunity comes right. But I don't know. I'm a fan of Europe. I never thought I would be, but I'm a huge fan of Europe. I'm adjusting to it pretty well, so. I don't mind playing in Europe, but you never know. I also wouldn't mind also being back in the States as well. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like I got to see Anthony Cowan in the league at some point, man.
We gotta make it work. We'll see. We'll see.
And then post playing career, what's next for Anthony Cowan Jr.? Is coaching something that you're kind of interested in?
Maybe down the line. I think that the smoothest transition that I would do in something I'm really interested is sports broadcast, and that would be nice for me. During COVID, I had like a little podcast. I don't know if any of you knew about it, but I had a little podcast during COVID, and it was something I really enjoyed. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan of the sports broadcasting world. So, after basketball, I feel like that might be my next step in life.
You're gonna take our jobs, man. Come on now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Y'all might gotta hire me, man. Give me a job.
All right, and we don't want to hold you too much longer, so we got just two quick things. So we do a rapid fire segment with every guest. So I'm just going to blaze through a couple of these, pretty
Cool.
easy ones. So just real quick. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Who's the toughest dude you played against in the Big Ten?
Toughest dude. Toughest dude. I'm gonna have to give. Can I do two? I gotta give you two from my year. Carson, and Cassius are definitely they're definitely rough. They're definitely rough. Definitely was fun to compete against them. But Carson and Cassius.
What's the worst or like shittiest built Big Ten locker room? Like the most crowded, the worst one. Like what would it be?
Like a away locker room?
Yeah, unless Maryland is that.
No. Minnesota. Oh,
What?
it's just super small. It's like in a basement. Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota's not my favorite.
Yeah. What's the coolest like spot in Europe that you've been to?
Coolest spot.
Mhm.
I'm biased because obviously I've been in Greece, so I feel like Greece is one of the best places. But Paris is super nice.
Yeah.
There's
Is there anybody that you've like retied like traces to that like played in America or anything like that?
Carson. I was just with Carson. Me and him met up here in Greece. I want to say around Christmas time. He
Nice.
had a little bit of time off. He plays in Germany. He was out here. But it's so weird. It's so weird some of the players that you play against out here, like players that you looked up to when you was younger. And it just comes full circle. It's super cool. But yeah, Carson's the first one to come to mind just because we was just together in December.
What's the favorite Maryland jersey that you wore?
Favorite one I wore. I always like the red. Whatever. Each year I feel like the red was the best. But we also my freshman year we wore a jersey against I forgot who we played, but it was like a throwback jersey. I forgot who we were playing. I think like Charlotte, but like it was like a throwback jersey. That was one of the. I was just in my closet when I went home and I was looking at that one. That was probably my favorite one. It's a throwback jersey.
Are you a beach or like a mountain guy? Like
I'm a
what's your
beach.
vibe?
Yeah, I'm a beach. I live. I'm 5-minute walking distance from a beach right now, and I'm there a good amount. So yeah, I'm a beach. I'm a big beach guy.
And you said you were a mama's boy. Does your mom like being not like being this far away, but does she enjoy Greece?
Yeah. So whenever my mom comes, it's like whenever I have people come visit, like they'll maybe stay for like a week or like a week and a half. But my mom stays the whole month. She stays the whole month of December. Her birthday's on Christmas, so she stays. She's the one that stays. She stays the whole month in December. So yeah, it's a little different being far away from it, but it's good. It's good for me for real. But yeah, she stays a good amount whenever she comes.
Gotcha. And then last thing for you, every week we do a draft, and because we have you on, we figured that the best draft this week is top 3 places that we want to travel to see a basketball game, whether that's like Europe, in the States, whatever it may be. So for you,
Okay.
what would your top 3 places that you want to go see a basketball game at would be?
Top 3. It would definitely be the Ars Pauk game I told y'all about. It's in Thessaloniki, Greece. That would be one. A game in Serbia, Belgrade, Serbia. I've never been, but I'm probably sure you heard of it. It's Red Star and Partizan. That game is always crazy too. Third one.
Shout out James Gist, Brendan and Mike. Remember he brought
That's
that
my
up.
guy.
James Gist told us about that game last year on the podcast.
That's my guy. Yeah, and then last one would be a game out here, Olympiacos, Panathinaikos. That's like another big rivalry. So
Gotcha.
either three of those games, that would be a life-changing experience for y'all.
All right, we'll have to we'll figure out with the under the shell budget and find a way to put it.
yeah, y'all find a way. But yeah, those three games are it's nice.